Hi, I'm Gary, welcome to my channel. Today I'm looking at the brand new kit of the monitor vessel HMS Lord Clive in 1/350th scale from Hobby Boss. Now monitors were crafted about the size of a destroyer but with a very broad beam that enabled them to mount huge main guns, largely from retired battleships. These were first used in the First World War for shore bombardment duties. Now if you like the video, please do remember to let YouTube know by subscribing to the channel, by giving the video the imperial thumbs up, and of course by hitting the notification bell. All of these are free and a great way to show your support. So let's make a start at looking at this release by checking out the box it comes in. So here's the box of the HMS Lord Clive, a monitor from Hobby Boss in 1/350th scale, as it says here. When complete, they say, the kit will be 292.3 millimeters long. 0.3, really? And the beam will be 76 millimeters. So you can straight away feel it's like, about 4.5 to 1 body ratio. It's quite a chunky looking ship. On this side, we get a better view of it by looking at some of the CAD things here. And these also tell you where all of the Photoetch and smaller parts are going to come from and will end up. This is the forward turret, I think twin 12-inch guns from what I remember. And here is the rear 18-inch gun mount on a fixed turret. It couldn't actually rotate this, it was permanently trained starboard. It was absolutely vast gun to put on anything this sort of size. I'm going to be doing this as a waterline kit as well, so some of this stuff, the rudders and all that, I won't be bothering with. But anyway, gives you a general view of the kit and also where all the Photoetch is going to be going. And I will be doing all the Photoetch, I promise you. On the other long side, it says this product is not a toy. Thank you for reminding me. It has the product code 86518. And then there's a brief description of the Lord Clyde. I will have to say some of the English is not the best, but do you know what? That's well, it's an awful lot better than my Chinese. So I just wish sometimes they'd get a translator to, or a translator first, and then someone to just tidy up the English a little bit. But it's fine. Not the end of the world. Photoetch parts as well, and some decals, which are basically just the ensigns for the ship. Again, a nice sort of side view of it. The red does go up quite a long way of the hull, so I'm going to have to see how I cut this to be a waterline model, how much of that red might actually be visible as like the sort of splashing of the waves by the side. Anyway, let's have a look and see what we get inside the kit for our money. It's a top opening box, very straightforward, quite sturdy cardboard, I will say. Inside we have the product release sheet for the Lord Clive. Again, it points out where all of the bits of Photoetch are and things like that. You know, it's basically a promotional. On the back of it is a Flak Panzer 5, so not really all that relevant, but another release from Hobby Boss, no doubt. Then we have the parts. Each frame has its own polythene bag, which is not the current practice in a lot of countries. Oh no, sorry, there are two in this, but then they're identical frames. This is, I don't know, maybe the deck. I'll have a look in a bit. There's more bits and pieces in there again. I think some more sort of sensitive parts in there. There's the Photoetch, vast amounts of railings. That's going to be quite fun to do and to get them in place. The decals, which are, of course, as I mentioned before, the White Ensign and the Union Jack, and there's a chain here. I'm guessing this is probably the anchor chain. It looks like copper. Then there are the instruction sheets and a separate paint call-out sheet. This is going to be interesting doing the Harlequin checking there. But anyway, we'll see how we go. Let's have a look at all these bits in a bit more detail. Frame A, quite clearly, are the two halves of the hull and the lower part of the structure. Frame B, I think this is the rear quarter deck, and these are elements for strengthening the hull. When you put the two halves together, these go in to strengthen the hull. Frame C, or indeed part C, is the main deck. As you can see, this is the position. I think this is a position for the aftergun here, and the front turret maybe goes here. Anyway, that's C, the main deck. Technically this is frame D, although there's so very little parts. These parts are just labelled D1, 2, 3 and 4. I don't know why they're done separately. It might be that they require some sort of special moulding, maybe slide moulding or something like that, because, for example, the windows here are recessed all the way around, and to do that with a separate mould would be a single mould would be really difficult. So I suspect that's like a multiple slide mould part or something like that. Frame E is largely about the huge 18-inch gun and its, I hasten to use the word turret because it doesn't rotate very much, but it's mounting, the gun mountings and stuff like that. You can see here that it's a slide moulded barrel, so they've managed to put a hole in the barrel so it's not just a blanked off bit of plastic, which is very nice indeed. Frame F is for other various bits and pieces of structure, derricks, there's the propellers here, just bits and pieces, you know, the ship's boats and things like that. There are two frames G. These are life rafts and more derricks here. I'm guessing these, I don't know what these are, Carly floats or something like that. I don't imagine so. I don't know. Anchors, just sort of ephemera of the ship, really. I think this is secondary armament here, and maybe some lighter guns as well to protect the ship, presumably. Then frame H has a few more bits and pieces of superstructure, the 12-inch gun turrets, and a nameplate, the Lord Clive, as well. I don't think I'll be using that. Then the Photoetch sheet, large parts of it are ship's railings and things like that. There are various things like ladders and whatever else, bits that go over the funnels. I don't know what they're called. I'm not a man of naval technology. Companionways, I think these proper ladders are between decks. These are things that go up the side of the masts, I believe. Anyway, we'll find out more about this later. I'm not as intimidated by Photoetch as I used to be, so I look forward to seeing where all this goes. Looking at the plastic here, it looks nicely moulded. There's no flash anywhere, it looks sharply moulded. I can't speak to the accuracy of these bits down the side. Oh, there's a little ladder there that you probably pick out with a bit of shading wash, I guess. I can't speak to the accuracy of all this because I know nothing about this ship other than it was a monitor. So it looks fine to me. I mean, the inside all looks clean. The ejector pins are well got rid of, well hidden. These big sort of slots here are for the bracing parts we saw earlier when we had a look at the frames. I mean, it all looks good to me. As I say, it all looks sharp to me, so that's a good thing, right? We have a look at the much smaller stuff, these derricks here. They all look very nice. Again, there's no flash at all on here that I can see, which is fantastic. These little Carly floats look very nicely moulded indeed. These mystery locker type things. Oh, it's not going to focus that close. Okay, these mystery lockers here, I don't know what they are, but they've been slide moulded. Again, you can see, whenever you see this sort of raised bit in the frame, you know that a slide moulded part has come in here to make sure that you can mould these knobbly bits. You can't mould things like that when the two halves of the mould are from above and below, because you won't be able to get the mould off. So whenever you see these raised bits, like here, again it's raised, That's so you can have a hole at the front of this 12-inch gun barrel, which is a really nice piece of design, I should say. And everything's moulded really beautifully, very sharply from what I can see. Very impressed. My first view, very impressed indeed. And these are the only decals we get. They're not terribly good, they're not terribly big. Have I got my... Yes, I do have my propelling pencil here. 0.5mm lead here. You can see that there's registration issues with the red and the other colours. So, yeah, I don't know. I might use them, I might not. If I do use them, what I'll do is I'll put these onto some thin metallic sheet and then cut around them and wrap them around and glue them up to give them some sort of stiffness. But I may end up getting some aftermarket or something like that. I'll see what else is available to be a little bit more convincing. There is, however, a chain. Let me see if I can get this. Lay it down for it. There we go. A length of copper chain, anchor cables, I'm presuming. The instructions, not terribly impressive, not really making you want to build the thing, not really nicely printed. But anyway, it's in black and white. It saves a lot of money, I suppose, and a lot of unnecessary cost in their ways. There's some advice here about things you might need to make the kit, and be careful how you cut them off, There's the translation for the icons I use here, and there's how to use the decals. But as the decals are really flags, you don't really worry about that anyway. Inside the first page is the frame map of all the parts, which is very good. And then we get on with building the ship. Obviously, the first thing you just build the hull. The hull is the core of the entire thing. Also, what I like about this is that you've got quite a lot of way through the build. Psychologically, by the end of page 1, you've built the hull and the main deck. Do you see what I mean? And then the rest of it's just adding other stuff on. Whereas quite often with aircraft, you've got like the first few pages of building a cockpit or something, and it's not until much later you actually join the things, and you can get a feel for the size of the kit. You do that essentially on page 1 with this, which I guess applies to a lot of ships anyway. Then there's the shafts for the propellers, and the propellers themselves, of course, go on later on. Rudders, won't be bothering with those. Then there's all this stuff that starts on the superstructure. I don't know what a lot of this is called. There's a lot of Photoetch here, which is lovely, for the hatches covers, I'm guessing. I don't know what a lot of this stuff is, but I'm sure I'll find out, and no doubt people will be very friendly and tell me what they are as well. There's bits of Photoetch here to go up the sides of the mount for the 12-inch turret, I'm guessing that would be. It's saying to lay the chain here. I'll have to see whether or not they actually anchored to fire. If they anchored to fire on the chain to come out of the front bits here. If not, then I don't need to bother, obviously. I can do what is there. All these sort of bollards, whatever they are, for tying up the ship are around here. Superstructure. Make 18 of these, whatever they are. Maybe they're the ready ammunition, the ammunition lockers for the 18-incher or something like that. Bit bizarre. I'll look all of that up. Secondary armament and tertiary armament as well go in. Making the superstructure. It's going to be interesting making the superstructure because it's painted very, very odd colours, as we'll see later. It's quite modular, however, so that gives me a lot of hope that it can be done in a fairly modular fashion. I'm more interested to see how we'll get on with doing the bits of Photoetch, so I might... Yeah, I don't yet know how we're going to do all of this. Anyway, we'll see. It's got to put a nice little bend in there for the bow, bending bits in here. I've got a bending tool for it, so I'm not that worried. Just have to make it roughly right, don't we? Yep, ships, boats, derricks for the boats, the main armament here, funnels, and the 12-inch turret, and it all goes together. Yeah, I mean, it's not that scary, but it's still very much out of my normal comfort zone in terms of what I build. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting to do. But that's the instruction sheet. This is the colour call-out sheet for HMS Lord Clive. The this is going to be quite a problem for me, this, because I've never done this before. Cocoa brown is hull red to me, so I'm going to paint that hull red, not cocoa brown. The side of the ships they're saying are dark sea grey. Okay. And the top deck they here call navy blue. Well, it's not going to be blue, it's going to be some naval dark blue grey, no doubt. I'll have to have a nose and see about that, what I can do about that. They've got a Mr. Hobby number. Yeah, I don't know whether this is right or wrong, so I'll have to see about that. The big thing for me is going to be painting the upper works here with the blue and white checkers. That's going to be quite a thought process to figure that one out. But you know what? It's not impossible. I mean, you paint it all white and then a lot of masking and then spray the rest of it blue, and that might work, I suppose. I don't know. We'll give it a go anyway. What can possibly go wrong? Other than that, it looks very, very straightforward. What, excuse me. What I suspect I'll do is paint the hull and the sides of the hull and the deck when they're all complete, and then paint the other parts before they go on, so I don't have that. So essentially it'll be an assembly job at the end of pre-made components, rather than trying to put all these on and then trying to mask around them to paint the deck in whatever colour that actually is. So that's the plan. Build the hull, paint the top deck, the sides of the deck, and the base of the hull. Not worry about the rudders and propellers and prop shafts and all that, because that's all going to be underwater. And then see how we go from there. That's the plan. That's the build plan. There it is. For my first foray into modern 1/350 scale naval modelling, I think it looks quite achievable, and the Photoetch will give it a decent level of detail, I'm sure. I look forward to putting this together, and we'll also be putting it into a water diorama. If you like the video, do please remember, let YouTube know by subscribing to the channel, by giving the video the imperial thumbs up, and by hitting the notification bell. Thank you so much for watching today, and goodbye.